E1MN, a state agency partnership advancing employment first. E1MN is a collaboration between the Minnesota Department of Human Services, the Minnesota Department of Education, and the Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development, working together to deliver a more seamless and timely employment support system. The slide shows the E1MN and State of Minnesota logos. As a waiver case manager, you play a critical role in supporting employment by connecting the person to waiver employment services. Let's take a look at how you can fulfill that responsibility. It's important to connect the person to the right service and supports. If you're not sure which phase the person is in, start by talking to the person and asking some questions about work. If they're unsure about work or didn't know that work was an option, they're in the engage phase, and employment exploration services can help. If the person has decided they want competitive, integrated employment and they need help creating a plan to make that happen, they're in the plan phase, and employment development services can help. If they're ready to start looking for jobs, they're in the find phase, and services through VRS or SSB can help. And if they have a job but may need some support with working, they are in the keep phase, and employment support services can help. Once you know what phase a person is in, have a conversation with them about what they want. Explain the services and supports that can help them during this phase of the employment process and answer any questions they may have. During the engage, plan, and keep phases, services are delivered through a person's waiver. We'll start by looking at your role as a case manager during these phases. Once you know what phase a person is in, have a conversation with them about what they want. Explain the services and supports that can help them during this phase of the employment process and answer any questions they may have to help them make an informed choice about services. When a person decides that they would like to access waiver employment services, give the person all their available provider options, along with time, opportunity, and experiences to help them choose a provider that is the best fit for them. If the person does not yet have a job, keep in mind they may eventually need vocational rehabilitation services, VRS, or state services for the blind, SSB, to help find a job, so a provider that provides both waiver and VRS SSB services, also known as dually enrolled provider, may be best. Once a person chooses a provider, authorize the service. To get the services started, you will need to collaborate with the service provider, just as you do when starting other services. Set clear expectations for the service. You can find guidance on expectations for waiver employment services linked at the bottom of this lesson. Lastly, you will need to document a person's informed choice about work in their case file once they have made their choice. You can use the activities they completed with the employment service provider and the provider's notes to document the person's informed choice. Now let's take a look at the find phase. VRS SSB staff take the lead role helping the person find a job during this phase. Given that, you will not connect the person to waiver employment development find phase services during this phase, except in 3 rare situations, which are listed in the Community-Based Services Manual, CBSM, Guidance for Employment Services Authorization. Early in the find phase, VRS SSB will confirm the person has access to waiver employment support services if needed. They will do this by requesting a benefit lookup through My Vault on the disabilityhubmn.org website. The VRS SSB counselor will let you know when the person gets a job and share basic information with you about the job. This early heads up will give you time to get waiver employment support services in place if needed. The VRS SSB counselor will contact you again when the person has reached stability in the job, which is the point VRS SSB services end and waiver employment support services should begin if needed. These important points of collaboration help ensure a smooth transition from the find to keep phase. By connecting the person with Wavier Employment Services, you are helping to achieve the shared vision. We will work together to align our systems so that people who are on HCBS disability waivers get seamless and timely supports to make informed choices and meet competitive, integrated employment goals.